What's going on, everybody? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. Getting ready here for our live session. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody, everywhere. I see every people from all over the world here with us this morning. We're in July, first week of July, July 7th, and we are in summer trading, but it looks like great conditions out there. Markets are set up today. They look really inviting. There's lots of setups that I'm looking at, looking forward to going over this session with you. And we're really going to focus in on FX because the rest of the market's kind of like, chilling out right now. But we are looking for some follow through right now. This might be the best session of the week. It might be the session that is setting up the trades that are to come this session and or tomorrow. They could be the trades of the week. Let's focus in on that really, really closely. There's a lot of talk in the chat this morning about what's going on with China. Their stock market, I heard, started blowing up yesterday. So we'll see. I get, blow up all stock markets. That's the plan right now, right? But blow up, as in bubble. All right, so yeah, it's all fake. All the data is manipulated. We don't have to worry about any of that. We just need to focus what's happening here on the charts. Of course, I love putting together all the pieces to that puzzle. I saw an amazing interview yesterday. It was with Raul Powell, Travis King, and Caitlin. I forget Caitlin's last name, but she's actually the one who has opening the bank in Wyoming. She's helped change a lot of the laws over there. Wyoming has the most favorable blockchain laws in all the United States. Fantastic interview. I'll share the link with you all in a little bit. Let's start over here looking at the S&P. By the way, this is going to be a short session. It's going to be 1 hour, so it's going to be a really good one. I'm not going to waste any time whatsoever. I'm going to be thorough going over the market. It's going to be only a 1 hour session, though, because 15 minutes later, we'll be doing a live training session with the Conquering the Markets group. All right, let's get into it. Looking at the S&P is mildly down. It's not being rejected, at any important resistance. It's simply pulling back over here. It's very orderly so far. You're looking for the resumption out towards the upside. Now, of course, anytime you get a pullback, it could lead to a deeper pullback and you don't know where it's going to end. But you do know right now that you're looking at this support down over here at 30.33. And if I just go ahead and I just take that lower trend line support and extend it, you can see that's also right now coming in around 30.50 on the S&P 500. That's where you'd be looking to buy into both those supports if you were lucky enough to get that type of deep pullback going forward right now. But I'm looking for a resumption upwards, and then we're going to see what happens when we test, 3,200 and or the high over here. That's going to be the real test on the S&P. So the markets are off a little bit, and the dollar's a little bit stronger. But you can see the dollar was rejected up here, right? You can see the dollar was rejected up here. I want to look at that on a lower time frame so I could see when that started happening, right? So you can see that was overnight, and now it's being brought back down. I can't imagine, and we were looking at yesterday when we were looking at the ISM non-manufacturing. We said if it was a really good print, we could see a little bit of dollar strength on that, but we would be looking to sell any strength. And you can see that we've come up, and so far we're being rejected. If we start getting any type of confirmation that price is going to make lower lows especially on the 8 hour time frame, that means we're going to see further dollar weakness, and that was nothing more than just a little fluctuation. The calendar is light this week. There's nothing going on. It's July, right? Almost mid-July, and we're in the summer. But like I said, we're out here looking at the waves. The waves look pretty good. So we're going to take a look at all that. Yeah, Tesla may be overvalued, but valuation's not really what's going on right now. So, yeah. But how much longer is this the top? If this is the top of the bubble, we're in a bubble. And if this is the top of the bubble, then you need to start, getting out of all equities and or looking for weakness to sell short. But it looks like this bubble is just getting started, in my opinion. It looks like this bubble is going to be going on And it's a question of when you get in. There's $5 trillion in money market accounts right now on the sidelines. What is that money going to do, especially if we keep rising up? If the dollar continues to weaken over here, right, which alleviates a lot of pressure, and then you see the equity markets continuing to rise up slowly. Eventually, and maybe it'll take us making new all-time highs. Maybe the indexes need to make new all-time highs first, but once that happens, then you have all that money on the sidelines that needs to participate, and it's just a question of looking to get in. Sometimes the market takes the hardest way up and doesn't really give forgiving entries. Sometimes it's the hardest to get in. Or are we rolling over? Let's take a look at that really quick as we continue this flow. Look, this is the high over here, right? This is the high, 3,400, and then we entered the crash. Right? We entered the crash, and since the crash, which is on this screen now, we've had this slow drift upwards. Now, is this the top right here? We're in a bubble. Is this the top? Should I be shorting this? No, not yet, right? If the economy is going to catch up to the markets at that point in time, it's okay. We'll be there. That's not happening right now. That would take a lot of technical damage, and this technically right now is looking pretty good. The earliest warning would be that this trend line over here, which has held, you can see it established itself over here, which has held since April, the end of April, April 20th, right? And unless that breaks, you cannot have that sell side bias. All right, let's take a look at FX. Before we do that, Bitcoin is kind of just maintaining. It had a nice day yesterday. You could see that it's down, it's down 8.85%. Not bad considering that it's just not, it's pretty good. It's hanging in there. But neither here nor there. Not much to say about that. Same thing with gold and silver. Gold is still just like hanging out near its highs, and silver also looking so good. So everything, the precious metals continue to look really, really strong as well. We did see that little bit of dollar strength since the ISM report. That's since started to retrace a little bit. Let's watch this over here. Let's watch what happens on the dollar. I think that's what's driving things right now. Same thing, not much going on to say at all. This is almost flatline over here, looking at WTI crude. Someone wanted to look at Ethereum yesterday. Maybe tomorrow we'll get into some of the altcoins later into the session. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter session, so that won't be today. I wanted to look at Ethereum, so I was getting ready to break out when that was mentioned. I just didn't get the opportunity. And we'll take a look at that deeply tomorrow. And in the meantime, if it breaks out, well, that's great. I would love to see the cryptos start going over here. We're going to start this with the Euro US dollar. Gene, pound, Swiss franc. We've also seen Swiss franc, Japanese yen is one we were looking at earlier. I want to take a look at that. Good morning. Good morning. Glad you're in here. Glad you're in here this morning with us as we enter the summer. And a lot of traders have already left the market, right? A lot of traders do not trade over the summer. This is great conditions right now. I think that if you're here right now and you're working on developing this skill, that's fantastic, because this is actually great conditions. We're going to see that in a moment as we look at the markets together. And again, just for myself, the last couple of weeks of August, I don't trade, right? So let's go. We still got a lot of time ahead of us. We still got 6 weeks of really good trading, and the markets are set up this morning very well. I saw a comment about gold and silver. I was just attracted to it. I wanted to see that. By the way, the video uploaded yesterday to the channel in the afternoon on Bitcoin, I thought was the best Bitcoin video to date. If you haven't seen that, watch that video. It's phenomenal. And the one released also on Friday is also fantastic. Boom, 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 boom. The lottery where the Jordan looks at the charts is hilarious to me. I don't know. I must have been missing something in the comments over there. It's vacation time, Joe. It's vacation time, and most people in the markets are not at their desks at all during that period. That's when just basically the whole industry is on vacation. Yeah, a lot of funds have their positions set. They're not looking to trade right now over the summer, but active traders are actively trading without question. Last 2 weeks, I like to go. Thanks, Gene. Thanks, Gene. Hanson, what's going on? Why don't people trade in the summer? No, traders trade in the summer, 100%. 100%. All right, let's get going here. Euro US dollar continues its consolidation over here. I don't have it marked out, but you could see this area that we've been in right now. Boom, since the July 4th holiday. We've been monitoring this situation over here, and you can see we're consolidating. Is that a bull flag? Yeah, I think it's a bull flag, or as close to it as you could get. Either which way, it looks like after the move up, as we're hugging this resistance over here and consolidating, that it gives us a clear indication of what's next. I'm looking for a breakout above over here. Actually, I am, and I continue. And I was last night. It didn't happen. If last night I would have triggered a long over here, that would have been great. But right now on the sidelines, watching for what's next. You could go either way. If we break out to the downside, there's a nice trade to be had for sure. And that will mean that this resistance, this trend line resistance going back quite a while is holding. But right now I'm looking for that upside continuation. I'm looking for the dollar to come off, right? And therefore the euro to follow through. If that doesn't happen though, and we break the bottom portion of this range, then that does set up a nice short. Do I want to be looking to short into this resistance over here right now, right? Because we are in a downtrend on the euro, right? We're in a downtrend. Do I want to short this resistance over here? To be honest, over in this area and in this area, I was looking on the short side over there, but I'm not looking as we're getting closer and closer and tighter consolidation range right now. I'd rather wait for the break down if I'm going to be taking a short. And right now it looks to me, or my bias is that we break now to the upside. The Australian dollar, US dollar, right? This looks pretty good. This is pulling back now into the first area of support. Again, if this resumes off and we see that dollar weakness follow through, which it looks like it will and it should, right? We got to break 98.80 for us to have any type of firmer dollar positioning right now. And right now it looks like the dollar is set to weaken. We'll see that play out over here. Is the question right now. Again, we're going to see quite a few setups in the market. So there's one thing to be able to recognize the setup, and that's important. But it also then it's figuring out where you want to put your time, attention, and capital. So, if you're looking at the euro US dollar and the Australian dollar US dollar, just narrowing it down between the two right now, as you can see that they both are showing setups. For me, it would be clearly I would be focused on the euro US dollar. So it's not just a question of finding the setup, it's a question of figuring out where you want to put your money. Here, the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar looks like not only is it holding that trend line over here, it's now breaking out above this resistance, holding as support right now. Higher highs on the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar signal a long entry over here. So that looks good as well. Australian dollar, Swiss franc, not as much. You can see that it is holding this area of support. I have it at right now at 0.654, and it's holding that well. And is that a long entry? I mean, technically, it's definitely a setup, and it's definitely providing the possibility of an entry if you get the higher high over here at the right time. But not interesting for me to be looking at or involved with. Looking now at the Australian dollar, Japanese yen, and this does look very nice here, set up for a long. If comparing pairs, because again, the reason I focus in on so many different pairs is looking for that opportunity. I know right now the market, the set of waves is coming in. This is the time, right? Like, it wasn't there yesterday. Some traders got into some good trades yesterday. For me, it wasn't there at all yesterday. It is now. Australian dollar, Japanese yen, you could see as it's holding this support after breaking out above. This is a textbook setup. This is as textbook as we get over here. You could see that we are pulled back, testing the support. If it holds and we resume up, that is an entry long on the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. Let's see the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. I mean, this continues to be something that I just don't want to participate in. This looks kind of like sideways jumpiness to me. I don't like the flow of that at all. It's not something I want to be involved with. What's happening here on the euro Australian dollar as we continue to go through all of the Australian dollar pairs? And we're seeing that we're seeing this resistance right here, and this should be marked as resistance. We're seeing that as so far holding. If you were to get a successful rejection over here of this trend line, and horizontal resistance and start making lows here on the euro Australian dollar, that is a nice opportunity to enter. At the same time, as we tried to break out over here you could have had a possible entry, which would have stopped out, right? What happens over here is you start to break out the trend line again. Not in the habit of picking bottoms, but I do like trend line breaks, right? One of my favorite ones, let me go back to gold and just show you what that looks like right over here. Let me make that a little darker for you just so you could see this beautiful, beautiful trend line break, right? This was back. That's not even the one I think I'm focused in on. Yeah, it's 2019. Yeah, early 2019. This is it, right? All the way down. Look at this. The gold was trading down towards its lows. It wasn't trying to pick a bottom, but this trend line break over here. Look at this breakout, retest, resumption up. That's what set off the bull market in gold, actually. That's what set off the bull market in gold. That was, ever since then, is the run it's taken up, this $500 run up to 1780. So as you see these trend line breaks over here, it's something that I don't really consider it, it's not picking a bottom, but it is a nice trade. It's developing over here to both sides right now. As you could see right now that the market is just full of setups right now. The waves are coming in. It's beautiful out there. Perfect. It's summer, right? This is the time to be involved. This is the time to this good trading environment, good money to be made, and perfecting that craft of yours, getting ready for the fall when it's going to be even a better environment. Looking at the euro Canadian dollar, I see it continues between our resistance and our support. I'm not calling out the levels because they're not really relevant. We're not looking for a trade. Do you look to sell resistance here in the sideways range as you're towards the top of the range? Are you looking to sell this perhaps, and then looking to buy the bottom, or are you looking to stand aside? For me, I'm standing aside. What happens if the euro is able to gain, get some momentum? If the euro is able to break out above over here and establish that resistance, which is held for so long, then that becomes attractive. Same thing on the downside, but right now we're towards the upside over here. Euro Swiss franc is so far being rejected by the Swiss franc at this important resistance at 1.6574, and price is making lower lows. Interesting to see. I don't know how much to read into that, especially with the slope of this channel. This is looking on the intraday right now, but seeing the slope of that channel that's developing, that could continue to rise like that. Again, nothing going on there. There are clearly setups going on, happening right now in the market and developing, but not there. Euro, British pound, the UK and the EU are continuing talks today, and they will be continuing talks regularly. I don't know what to read into that. When we saw that there were signs that actually there's going to be an agreement and there was going to be a soft exit, you saw the euro appreciate pretty sharply in this area here versus the pound. We've since retraced that. You can see us bottoming out over here. This is resistance all in this area at 0.9, and now that's become support. And that's an important area. Let me move this blue line I have over there down just so you can look at it. Just so you can look at it like that. And, is that a head and shoulders forming, by the way, intraday? Is that like a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder? And is that horizontal line right here, the neck? looks like it. That would take you down, right? If that triggered, that would take you probably down into the support over here at 0.88567. Something to watch out for. We'll see. But right now, as you are testing the support, if this support down over here holds, the one that we just looked at zero point 0.9 and resumes off of it, whether it looks like it's a head or shoulders developing not, that's a long entry and one to look out for. All right, Euro Japanese yen looks very good over here. This looks excellent textbook setup. This was where I hope a lot of traders were focused. You could see this was resistance over there, right? And then that has broken out, flipped to support, and now resuming upwards. Looks pretty good over there. What's happening right now is we've got 7 minutes to the U.S. equity markets open. Just taking a time check and a check on the equity markets. They really haven't moved since we got on about 20 minutes ago. The dollar continues to give back a little bit of gains. And for example, looking over here at the euro, trying to now come back above. Is this an entry signal right here, possibly on the euro US dollar? This is an active session in New York over here during the overlap with London. Not getting into nuances, the last 2 hours in FX of New York are absolutely a good time to trade. For me personally, though, the entries are so few that I just avoid it. Trading is all about quality of life. Yeah. So what happens over here? I'm looking at this resistance over here, this trend line resistance, and when I draw in my lines, they're not exact. You could draw in maybe something like, instead of this line over here, like that little box, right? And because that's the area you're looking for, right? For whatever reason, I prefer the lines. If this is the resistance right over here, we're looking for a breakout above. We had the test of the resistance. We've pulled back. Is a resumption up an entry? Looks good to me. I think it's one to definitely watch. Let's see if it follows through. It's a step behind the euro Japanese yen, but let's see if that is able to also continue up. Let me just pause to jump all the way to the end towards the US dollar Mexican peso over here, which, again, I've talked about it so many times. It's been so tightly correlated to the equity markets. You saw the equity markets coming off overnight and the US dollar rising versus the Mexican peso. And then since we've come off the lows, right? Look at the S&P 500. There's the same exact pattern. Come off the lows and now trading up. Same thing happening with the US dollar Mexican peso. So the interesting, talk about pain trade, right? If you're looking at S&P continuing to rise, and it doesn't mean straight up. I'm not talking about straight up, right? But if you're generally looking at a higher S&P, a year from now, 6 months from now, then what happens here in the US dollar Mexican peso is the trade right now to be actually short dollars versus the peso, collecting that high swamp. It seems like a pain trade to me. I struggle with that. That's why I'm giving it a second here to really just consider this for. And I'm not talking about swing trading right now. I'm talking about a little bigger of perspective. Where is that dollar shortage going to show its head again? The swap lines are being paid back. They're almost halfway paid back. When you've seen the decrease of the. By the way, if you're enjoying this session, right? If you're learning anything, if you've seen anything, if the analysis has helped you, see anything, that please go ahead and smash that like button today. There you go. Jordan, when should we look to trade on the S&P 500? I'm not. And the thumbs down. Thank you, brother. Thank you for that beautiful heart of yours. I'm not sure what's going on in the comments over here. I don't really care. I'm so much enjoying this session today myself. So I'm going to keep going on that flow. But that's awesome to hear, ZR1 Rob. I'm not really interested in anyone who's, looking on bringing any type of whatever they feel like bringing to the, I'm interested in the good vibes. I'm interested in that positive mindset, that growth mindset, those looking to improve, those that people that are here, I know what it does for their trading. That's why you're all here, right? So here we go. Thanks, Amy. Appreciate that. I continue to look here at the US dollar, Mexican peso. Reason being, if we are looking at this continued, by the all right, let me show you what's going on in my brain, right? Let's look at the gold to silver ratio. You have all looked at this with me, right? If we looked at 2008, this peaked around here. This was when the Fed started QE. Same exact pattern that happened over here happened in 2008. And I'll show it to you really quick. It's right over here. This is when the Fed started QE. You can see the gold to silver ratio explodes to the upside during that huge liquidity crisis. Because what do you want to hold, gold or silver, in a liquidity crisis, right? But now that crisis is over. That crisis is over. And you could see right away the sharp pullback in the gold to silver ratio, some consolidation. And then over the foreseeable future, as precious metals, when QE starts, go on their huge bull run, as we're just starting, looking on right now, you could see that during that bull run, silver leads the way. US dollar, Mexican peso, if you believe we're going to be coming towards another crisis anytime soon, then maybe we're looking for a stronger dollar over here and we're looking for a retest of over there. I don't think that's happening anytime soon whatsoever. So where do you want to be longer term, right? Is this. Because down over here, you could see, look at this, when the peso was trading recently at 18.5, that was because of the carry trade. A lot of traders were in this because Mexico is really not the ugliest looking duck in the bunch when you talk about emerging markets. And they also pay a very high swap rate. People looking to collect that swamp, right? And then when it fell apart, it blew up. This is when we had the dollar shortage, and this blew up in their face. Here we are back now. How do you position going forward? That's the question you need to be asking yourself. The question was why a lot of people in finance gone for the summer. Well, they're already positioned. They're already positioned. They're not actively trading, right? High frequency algorithms and those type of shops are running full speed right now. It's the summer. There's plenty of trades out there. 700 plus people here. Summer group. If you like it, what's going on, hit that thumbs up. The ratio to thumbs up is not that good today. That's surprising. I'm enjoying the session. I think it's a really good session as we're looking at a lot of setups in the market. Yeah, Kips is a huge fan of Palladium. I have a good friend, huge. This guy, I feel like you've been trolling all day. Give us the top trading of the idea. Wait, you want my top trading idea of the day? For real? Why? Right? Why? If you were paying attention to the analysis, you would have known what my top trade of the day is and what trades I'm in, right? Not because I mentioned what trades in, but when I went over the trade, right? So no, that's not no, right? Boom, boom, boom. No. Tesla could go up like look at that. Tesla is I'm just looking at it for fun because it's going up like the Falcon right over here, like Dragon. It's actually ever since Elon launched Dragon into space, is Tesla's right over here is when Tesla started going parabolic. Look at that, interesting. But this is what I believe what you're seeing over here is you're seeing a huge amount of liquidity that's being put to work in the equity markets. Amazon also trading above 3,000. Amazon also trading above 3,000. So, and Square too. We've looked at Square. Everything is flying right now. Is this a bubble? Are valuations overextended? Valuations are extraordinarily overextended. But probably we're going to see corporate profit increasing. Probably the COVID actually has helped a lot of corporate profits. So either which way, liquidity is liquidity. It's finding a home right now. And we've looked at, the Fed's balance sheet, by the way, people have saw it come off a little bit the last couple of weeks. That wasn't really any type of tightening. That was the swamp lines being paid back by other central banks. We talked about that those swamp lines were just temporary loans that they needed to be paid back. That's dollar positive. That's dollar positive, and the dollar is not doing much on that, right? The dollar's not doing much on that. Markets are looking good. Markets are looking good. All right. Let's see what else is going on over there. Yeah, yeah, exactly. But this went vertically down and then came back vertically up. Right? This came vertically down and then has gone vertically up. Boom, here we are. Vertically down. Vertically down. So, listen, you all know at heart that I'm the biggest bear out there. You all know at heart that I'm the biggest bear out there. You guys all saw me in full glory during this period, but right now I am, I'm following what's going on in the markets. I'm not trying to reason my logic into the markets whatsoever. I just want to understand what's going on. I want to be able to position myself, to be able to profit and continue building out here. And that means following what the markets are doing, understanding why they're doing it, and then being able to participate, right? I get the economy is terrible. Yeah, let's look at the US dollar, Japanese yen, and I'm gonna look at this on the 3-day time frame. I think it's more appropriate because you could see we are coming down right now into an area of consolidation, right? So pull up some big levels. I could probably pull down this support level and I'll put it back where it is, maybe down to this area over here, right? 105, 105.80 it is over here. The other big thing that I'm tracking over here is this 5-year trend line, right? And I'm waiting for the day that we break above it. Ultimately, I think that the US dollar is in a much better currency than the Japanese yen. But Japanese yen, safe haven flows, they are what they are until they aren't anymore. I don't think there's any trade going on here on the US dollar, Japanese yen right now. I think that you could see that we are consolidating in the middle of a resistance and support. And this is not where you want to put your time. This is not where you want to focus on right now. We're sideways. And you could see that going back all the way to April, we're just back we're exactly where we are. All right. US dollar, New Zealand dollar has actually some setups as well. This is the US dollar Swiss franc. You could see over here, it looks like the Swiss franc is getting ready also to make another lower low after the dollar trading up strongly. That's reversing. If that happens, right? If that happens, and again, my lines are just guides. Here's the support. That was the resistance. Here's the support though right now in the market. And if we make a lower low here and break that support, is that an entry you want to be involved in? There's a set of waves coming in. There's so much opportunity. It's for you to decide, right? US dollar, Canadian dollar on the flip side over here, right? Is that could someone have taken this buy entry over here overnight? I mean, I was definitely clear yesterday in the session that longs US dollar and on the US dollar, Mexican peso, and US dollar, Canadian dollar do not look good right now. That's a trade that I would have stood aside on. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate that. Thanks, Dan. So Mr. Blue Box 45 was ripped to shreds on options the past months and a half or so, right? Back on the sidelines now. Would it be insane waiting for a second leg down in the coming months? So would it be insane? I'm going to take a quick deviation here, 2 minutes, and then I'm going to get right back into the pairs. Is it possible that in the next 2 months, next 6 weeks, sometime over the summer or sometime in September and October, that we see a big retrace in the equity markets, right? What would a big retrace even be? Let's define that really quick. Let's just say, for example, from the high we put in June, that we came off and we're off right now, right? 2% off that low. We had already been off 8%. That was a buying opportunity. We were buyers over here. And then we were down 7%. That's a buying opportunity, but we were also technically buyers right there as well. Now I got out neutral over here in the middle because of the July 4th holiday, right? So when I look at this market right now, I'm saying to myself, right, this is quite bullish. We're above the upper half over here, right? When I say half, I'm looking at this channel. This is the top, bottom. We're in the upper half right now. If price starts making higher highs, yeah, I want to be long S&P 500. Why even think about waiting for perhaps a retrace in the markets or some type of like, when I say retrace, I mean coming off, right? 8, 10, 15%, right? Are the markets going to do that right now? Hey, I don't think so. If they do it, here we are. But right now, I think that if this holds and starts resuming up, that's where I want to get long, because I was able to get long down here and had a beautiful swing trade. Hey, I'm a swing trader, right? I was able to show you on the 8 hour this trade up, this trade down, this trade up, this trade up. We avoided this trade down. That's why I said stop on the sell side. Up here got long, right? We just ripped up the S&P over the last couple of weeks. If you're paying attention, do I think you should be trading it? No, I don't think you should trade. I think you should trade FX. It's much easier. I think you should focus in on trading FX. Pound Canadian dollar. Let's check it out. All right, pound Canadian dollar, seeing the pound come back up strongly into this area of resistance over here. Looks nice. When I say it looks nice, it looks like that it potentially could break above this resistance. All right, so first of all, it is resistance. We assume resistance is going to hold until it doesn't. What we're looking for over here is clearly resistance. If that holds and price on the 8 hour makes lower lows, that is an entry to the short side here on the pound Canadian dollar. We're in a downtrend, sell resistance. There it is. It looks like that perhaps that the Canadian dollar has the potential here to break out here. And then if that does, do you wait for a pullback in to test that low and then resume up? Or if I step back, I could say that, yeah, I'm definitely in an uptrend here on the pound Canadian dollar. And I could see taking both sides of that trade. People often wonder, well, what how much time are you looking at when you decide if you're selling off resistance, buying off support? Well, it's nuances. There's no rules as far as So let me go ahead and get rid of that comment, by the way. So yeah, over here, selling resistance, that's a downtrend. You could do that. Pull back a little further. Could you say that we're in an uptrend? If we go ahead and pop up here and confirm that into support, buy it. Yep. Lots of trades developing over there on the pound Canadian dollar. Looks pretty good. Like I said, and I could just tell when the market's good. The market's good right now. The market's good right now. Yeah, I'm not focused in on the comments. I'm focused in on the charts and just going over the analysis. Sometimes I see a comment that catches my eye and I go over it, but there's no rhyme or reason and or favoritism or anything like that. It's just, how the session flows and what's important. JPM, that's not something that's going to fit into the flow right now. Let's look at some different cross pairs. Euro Japanese yen is a good one. And look how this has broken above this area of resistance, right? Is it an uptrend? Well, going back to the end of, you're going back. Hold on, because we almost broke down over here. Right in this area over here, we were on the verge of really breaking down over here. But that was, towards the end of what we're going to call, what was the crisis. Is this an uptrend right now? Yeah. No question about it, right? We've been in an uptrend the last couple of months, last few months, breaking above that resistance over here, coming back down, testing that broken resistance as support and resuming off of it. Right now, that's opening up right there for a long entry on the Euro Japanese yen. I'm thumbing it right now. Well, thank you. Yeah, Antonio, it's pretty bad. Thank you for asking. It's cases, they never actually had any type of reduction in the curve. It's been straight up and continues to be straight up. Hopefully sometime in mid-August, they're able to go ahead and to bring down the curve. It's tough. The hospitals last week were a little bit better, and I think that the potency of the current COVID is starting to weakening, which is great around or everywhere in the U.S. as well. It's starting to weaken, so that's excellent. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Why are the financials not moving other sectors? Why would they? Well, I don't know. Financials is like a dying dinosaur, you know? Why would they move other industries? Financials are a dying dinosaur, especially as rates continue to go negative, right? That's not good for the banks. Um, Either which way, buy Bitcoin, right? Second wave about to rock the universe. Well, yeah, I agree with that, but that doesn't mean that the current mutation out there right now is not weakening. That all the antibodies are down in all the tests. That is true, but I do believe and I am concerned for a big second wave in the fall. I keep an eye out on Spain. The Catalonia region last week, a few days ago, went on to lockdown. There was some resurgence of cases over there, but Spain as a whole, Italy as a whole, has not seen any type of resurgence. Watch what happens in the fall. If that happens there or in New York, that will be scary. If Jordan is holding a bearish sentiment on what? I'm pretty bullish on everything. So, what is maybe I'm going to give him 2 seconds to retype that comment. That must have been like a typo, right? Because who do you know anyone more bullish than myself right now? And didn't I just say, not even 5 minutes ago, right now, you should be looking to buy this pullback on a resumption out of it? So I'm going to just, whatever. United Health symbol, no, sorry. Listen, it could be, but why there? Focus on the indices. Tesla is mooning. Yeah, that's good. Typo, right? I thought it was a typo. That's not. Yeah, we were people were wondering, or you always hear the narrative. Oh, the Australian dollar is down on lockdown. No, that's not how the markets work. That's not what's happening right now. But sorry to hear that, Will. And I hope you guys are able to really. You're doing the smart thing then, obviously, and everyone knows that. The smart thing to do, right, when there's any type of resurgence, is everyone get down on lockdown, stay as safe as possible, and everyone continue, obviously, stay safe out there. Yeah, I'm Tom. I'm taking Bitcoin to zero. My stop loss on Bitcoin is zero. Did a video on the channel that was posted on Friday, and it talked about how basically a position on Bitcoin is like a 476 times call on the S&P 500, right? With a stop loss of zero, right? Do I think Bitcoin's good? Bitcoin has an enormous. I don't know how often any of you transfer money, right, overseas, internationally. It's not easy and it's expensive, and you have to get someone else's permission. You don't have to do that with Bitcoin. It's fast, it's easy. There's an enormous use case for Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin going to zero? No, I don't think so. Is it software that could have a bug that all of a sudden it's worthless? Yep. There's a risk. There's always a risk, but I'm not looking. Thanks for that. I'm not looking for any type of exit. I'm looking to accumulate and buy Bitcoin. Multi-year resistance. I think that quickly it goes up and tests all-time high, and then from there is going to break it. Maybe it comes off and has a small pullback at the high or after breaking the high. But from there, it's going. I think it's going up. I think gold is going up in the near term versus the dollar. And when I say near term, I mean the next couple of years. Yeah, I mean, so how could you, if you own Bitcoin, right? How could your stop loss not be zero though? Well, I guess so. So we looked at on chain transactions recently. That was on Thursday's video, Friday's video, and we saw that 62% of people who have owned Bitcoin for over a year have not touched it. Where 62% of people who own Bitcoin have not moved that Bitcoin in over a year. And that was including, by the way, the crisis when we saw the crash, when we saw the mark, when Bitcoin crashed all the way down to 4,000, 3,800, right? And when that happened, 62% of people who own Bitcoin did not sell at 3,800. So if they didn't sell at 3,800, because over 62% of all Bitcoin has moved in a year, what price are they going to sell at? They're not going to sell, just like myself, right? They're not going to sell. And that's why price shot up so quickly from there. This obviously only happened for moments. Most people did not have money on the exchange to buy right then, right? So there was a select few of people who were able to get down over there. I got some nice fills, 4,200, still holding it, right? 5,000 still hold, whatever they are, it doesn't even matter. But yeah, if people didn't sell down here, what makes you think they're going to sell at any price? Yeah, so listen, there's like I don't know, there's something on super chat or something like that, right? And if you really want to look at an individual symbol for a stock, go ahead and use the super chat. Otherwise, that's not part of what we're looking to do over here. I don't know. It's at some nice resistance right now. Why would you want to? Why United Healthcare Group? I have no idea. I'm not. The thing about stocks is if you're investing in a stock, you got to dig through all their financials. You have to know, are they bringing in income? Are they operating at a loss? Right? How much money they're making? With so many variables, I don't know. It's not for me. Technically alone, you're into this resistance over here. You could be saying, is it looking to break out and break up? Maybe, but there are a lot of things right now. When I say things, a lot of individual companies right now who have already broken out to new highs. They're leading the way, right? United Healthcare is playing reversion to the mean, playing catch up. Doesn't seem exciting. Yeah, so this is an amazing question, Danielle. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I enjoyed it so much. And Rick, and because of that, we're going to go right back down to the Euro New Zealand dollar and then the Euro British pound right after that. But so I think that's a response to this question right there, though. What is going to be the next Bitcoin? Right? There's no other cryptocurrency that's competing with Bitcoin. There's not one. Ethereum, which might outperform Bitcoin in this bull market over here, Ethereum is not competing with Bitcoin for money whatsoever, right? Ethereum's utility is completely different, as is, every other altcoin out there. They all serve a function that is separate from Bitcoin. There's no other Bitcoin. There's no other cryptocurrency competing for money, and no other can. Whether it was because of the perfect launch of Bitcoin, no VC money, no insiders, right? A fair launch. Everyone was able to mine from the beginning. Yeah, there were only a few miners there, but they were taking that risk back then and going ahead and mining Bitcoin, and it was basically the cost of electricity. It's not much different today, the cost of electricity, right? And so I forgot what the quote was. Oh, nothing else is competing. What even close for Bitcoin or could be the next Bitcoin? No, Bitcoin is competing against gold. Bitcoin will eventually overtake the market cap of gold, right? Even if gold is trading at 2,500, 3,000, or even 5,000. By the time gold is trading at 5,000, what will the price of one Bitcoin be? Will it be 1 million or higher? I'm not doing that math right now. That's not important. But there's, after gold, what's Bitcoin competing against? The dollar, right? Bitcoin's competing versus fiat and versus gold. as a store of value and a medium of exchange inside the global financial system. Thanks, Mar. I'm enjoying it too. Let's take a look at some cross pairs over here because we got about another 8 minutes left. And there was a bunch of pairs mentioned that we're going to go over. We were looking at this in the 4 hour. It looks like it's breaking down right now. So if you're watching this, the correct entry right now, right, was that off the resistance all the way up here, right? The right shoulder for us. I think so. Right now, as this is breaking down, you would need to wait absolutely for a retest and then a resumption to get into that trade, right? That's not happening now during this New York session. There's no way it could happen. The earliest it could happen then will be on the London Open and during that session. That will be the end of today's session. On Tuesdays, we do a private live stream session for all Conquering the Market members. 10:15. So we got about another 7 minutes here. What's my prediction on the DAX? I don't have one. There was a couple of currency pairs that I wanted to take a look at. There you go. Euro, New Zealand dollar. And then Anaya, we already looked at the Euro British. No, we didn't look at the. Yeah, we did. It's right up in the chart right now. So let's look at the Euro, New Zealand dollar right now. So I like the sessions. Well, so here's the thing. Right now, today, the market is beautiful. There's a lot of beautiful setups. There's a lot of nice movement. And that's why we're able to blow through the charts and look at every single currency pair. And we're able to go through it in such a nice manner. And the flow of today's session was fantastic because of that. It's not like that every day, though. It depends. Like we basically fit into the flow of the market. So if the market is just not showing any opportunity, we can't blow through the charts, and that's why the flow of the session is just different. Euro New Zealand dollar right now here is pushing these lows over here, right? I'm looking at this and I'm looking to see, as someone who's not in this trade, like when I could get into this, and if I kind of push down over here, I could see resistance up there at 1.739. That might be something to look for. Am I looking to take here's support down over here at 1.7192? Are you looking now if price is able to push through there for an entry? That's not an entry that I'm seeing or looking at. Right? I think for me, I see lots of opportunity in the market. I don't see it right here. I don't see a way to get into the Euro New Zealand dollar. All right, Rick? Yeah, David. Thanks for always participating. Thanks for all the comments, the support. Listen, I know it changes lives. I know it's really helpful. I'm doing the analysis for myself. I love being around you guys. You want to say guys? I mean you guys and girls. Yeah, it did break, but that's not a signal for me. Yeah. What? I don't know what's wrong with you today, Britsky Undi, but you've just been terrible all day. Just bringing down the whole environment, the room. I don't know what's wrong with you. So yeah, I mean, what a way to end it. Thanks, dude. Man, wake up call. Last warning. There you go. I have 5 kids. They're little kids, man. And you have to be so loving and so patient, but at the same time firm, right? You have to be firm. I don't want to do that in here. Come on, man. This is our place to look at the markets together. What's wrong with you? Thanks, GP. Appreciate it. We're gonna unfortunately end it on that note, man. After such a fantastic session, but it is what it is. And it was a good session, though. It was a good session. Listen, I mean that. Like this time, I really value it. I enjoy it. It's fantastic. For my own trading. Euro Japanese yen, by the way, this looks good over here, as it's coming into the back end to the support after it broke that resistance, pull back into that support. Now coming over here, looking to make higher high. checking in on the S&P over here, you could see that it's getting ready to resume up, right? Price makes higher high in the 8 hour. That's an entry for me right now. I've been only focused on the S&P on the 8 hour time frame. We've moved past the crisis. I was really forget all of this and all this, which was great and fun. When I was trying to pick down over here, right? Look for intraday trades to turn them into swing trades. We never got that, and I feel like we should have come back down and tested lower on the S&P. It never happened. The Fed stepped in, right? So, thanks, Reza. Thanks, man. Of course. Let me look at the love. I didn't even see it, Mark. Let me take a look at it, and we'll end on a fantastic note. Then, thank you, K Moore. May God bless you too. Yeah, Arjun. Thanks for all the thumbs up today. Thanks for all the thumbs up. Thanks for all the shout outs. Thanks for the love. I appreciate that. Rashid, Alexander. Thanks for being with us today. Thanks for the support. Appreciate that. Edward, you too. Thomas. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Thanks, King Wong. Appreciate that. It was a good session, Jason. Definitely. Will, prayers for people in Australia right now, right? As going through this resurgence over there. Stay safe, right? Stay safe. Thanks, JL. Appreciate that. BB MD. That's the best way to go, JC, ever since I first started 20 years ago. I'll never forget Saturday morning, getting that cup of coffee and going over the charts. Love it. You too, everyone. Have a beautiful, 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 beautiful day. Have a beautiful day. Looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. It was a good one. You guys are awesome. Look at all this love. I didn't even see that. Thanks, Murray. Appreciate you. All right, everyone. God love you. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care and God bless.